Allow me to beg your indulgence for one moment. This is the artist formerly known as Damian Sandow, now known as Aaron Stevens, and you're listening to the Talk and Roll Express with Lewis, Thomas, Oliver, and Cameron, covering everything from murder mysteries to union stabs and always getting the job done straight from the enclosed pool area. You're welcome.
Right, guys. Summerslam 2002. Initial impressions of this pay-per-view.
In the absence of Cameron McGrath, who picked this pay-per-view for us to watch this week, I would like to say that this is the worst pay-per-view the WWE ever put on. No, but seriously, this is something I've actually written 10,000 words on reviewing as well, and it's on the second page of Google. I'll have you know. For me, this is just as close to perfection as the dub will ever come. To be honest, right from the first beat to the ending, I don't think this pay-per-view misses a trick. It's obviously 2 and a bit hours long, which is it gets to a sluggish stage. But this just felt fast. It felt quick. Even the longer matches, like the Triple H Shawn Michaels match, that was quick. That moved with pace. It was just fantastic. I can't speak highly enough of this pay-per-view.
Yeah, I agree. There was not a bad match on this pay-per-view, and some of the matches that I'm sure we'll get to that me on paper have been like, yeah, I'm not really interested in that. This pay-per-view elevated them to something good.
Yeah, I mean, it is widely regarded as the SummerSlams that we ever did. Usually this in 2000 and same kind of category, and I will. This is actually, I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't know how good it was going to be, and then I actually sat down and watched it. I thought, yeah, this is actually probably the best one that they've ever done. Or will probably ever do. Always keep my eyes open for these. But should we get into the first match?
I think we should.
Yes. Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio. Now, the great tradition of opening matches damn near stealing the show. Obviously, you've got Bret and Owen at Mania 10. I think this has to be one of both men's best match. And I know when everyone says Rey Mysterio, they come back to him and Eddie Guerrero at Halloween Havoc 97. For me, this is just as good, if not better.
This was just fantastic. It was the pace of it as well. It was just the chemistry of it as well, the fluidity. I think, as I said in the chat, right from the opening note, it was a case of, Angle's music come out. The whole arena is just telling him he sucks, and it's one of those. He's always played for me. He's one of the greatest wrestlers I've ever seen, but he plays the pathetic chump so well. He took that role and absolutely ran with it, and it's the way he just looks bothered by it as well. And gets in the ring, Mysterio's music play, the camera's looking around. It's like, well, he's meant to jump. He's on the fucking top rope and he jumps onto Angle, and right from there, you know it's going to be good. You just know it's going to be a good pay-per-view. And yeah, the chemistry of it, the ending of it as well, yeah.
Absolutely. And it was a very, very even match, and especially considering about this time, when everyone's still on their vitamins. For Kurt Angle to take a look at a guy who's 5'4", 160 pounds, how's the audience supposed to believe I'm going to have any trouble with this guy? For him to go out there and have an absolute barn burner, I'd forgotten about this match, so I didn't even know who won. I legitimately thought Ray was going to go over.
It's one of those. I watched it the other day, and I'm still convinced. Didn't Mysterio win that one? But no, it could have been anybody's game, to be honest. And I think, it was very much a brains versus brawn thing. I think they played the fact, like you said, the fact Ray's 5'4" as well. It should be a cakewalk for Angle, but they made it work in his favour.
I think that's one of the things they did really well with the heel Kurt Angle. We all know Kurt Angle is legitimate. We all know he's authentic. He's a tough guy. Like in that Diamond Chicken wrestling match had with Brock Lesnar, famously got a takedown on him. Kurt Angle can go, and they built the heel Angle knows this legitimate tough guy that was difficult to beat, but an arrogant wank who you could beat because he was so cocky and likely to make mistakes and try and showboat and things. I thought how they packaged him was really, really clever, as opposed to just being this unstoppable monster, which Kurt Angle probably could be, but it wouldn't have been as entertaining. He has such great comic timing, Angle.
Yeah, he's too funny to be a monster. He's like you could have done a Goldberg redo with him. You could have brought him in as the Olympic champion, as the most legit wrestler on the roster, and just had him like plow through the whole of the WWF into the WWE. But the fact, you did have him as just having him like fucking being chased around by Edge trying to shave him bald. That would be much better than him just like, squashing like Triple H or something.
Yeah, because this is the first big pay-per-view of the bald Angle era, isn't it? Because he still had hair when he fought Kane at Mania 18. This is post-Edge feud. I think that Edge feud really, really made him as well. It's just a beautiful second chapter of Kurt Angle's career. I always
love that kind of hair versus hair match, don't you? That's right. Who's going to win this match? Is it the guy with the long, flowing golden locks, or the other guy who's balding?
But apparently one of the behind-the-scenes stories was that up until like the day before, Edge was told he was going to get shaved, and he was like apparently in damn near over tears.
Can we talk about a butterfly effect where Trump lost the hair versus hair match, and Vince went over?
Any less dignified, I suppose.
You couldn't have a man that bald becoming president. I mean, look at it. Let's not get political, but Boris Johnson is going bald. Nobody will vote for a bald man.
We get political literally every time, Thomas. That's fucking record.
I can't. I'd vote for Kurt Angle. That's my exception to the rule. If Trump was bald, he would not have won the presidency, and that the blood of the American people is on Vince McMahon's hands.
Well, the thing is though, Trump is bald.
I mean, properly bald.
He just wears a wig.
Yeah, but if he'd been shaved bald on WrestleMania,
it would have been shaved bald. It would have been the quickest shaving after. McMahon would have walked over, grabbed a lump of his hair, and just went yoink.
I was about to say, if he's wearing a wig, it's a fucking shit one, isn't it?
I know, all that money.
I was about to say, you can tell the guy's actually broke in real life. Because if I was a billionaire, I'd have apparently Terry Wogan wore a wig as well. He had 3 wigs of varying length. This has nothing to do
with Angle versus Mysterio and fucking Terry Wogan.
All I'm saying is, go on SmackDown versus Raw, create a character. Let's see what Terry Wogan can do. Anyway, so yeah.
I just want to say, in summarization, this match was 9 minutes and 20 seconds long, and there's a big difference between an Angle versus Mysterio with 9 minutes 20 seconds match and a Godwin's versus Southern Justice. No, Godwin's versus Southern Justice. Godwin's versus DOA 9 minutes and 20 seconds match.
It just flowed. It just from point to point. There is a point during this where I did have to skip it because I saw that particular segment was 5 minutes long. And I was already bored with it. But the rest of it, the wrestling, it just went from point to point flawlessly.
You mentioned the Godwins there, and you felt like the multiverse theory. This is just genuine kind of scientific theory. It's not just a kind of Marvel DC thing like that, but every possible variation of human history is played out at some point in somewhere. I don't believe there's any universe that exists where the Godwins and DOA have a better match than Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio, though. If that universe does exist, I never want to see it.
I just refuse to believe it.
Oh, can you imagine Big Hog doing like a springboard plancher?
Oh. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I would too.
But I would also, if they multiverses exist and you can travel to this multiverse, where the Godwins like headline Mania in like 17 or something, and they like put like the Heart Foundation down. I wouldn't go to it. I would just start to deny it. I'd become like the multiverse equivalent of a flat earther.
I'd be like that film, the one with Jet Li, when he's traveling to different multiverses, killing versions of himself. I'd be doing that in an attempt to collapse the multiverse so there was only one universe left, and it sure as fuck wasn't that one.
Yeah, I just go and just fucking kill the Godwins.
Yeah, match number 2, which is Ric Flair versus Chris Jericho. I'm going to be honest, yeah, obviously we know this is a card with not a bad match, but I'm going to say this was actually my least favourite match. Not that it was bad or anything like that, but it's 10 minutes.
Well, there's got to be a least favourite match on every card. Let's be honest. This was the worst of the best bunch, as it were. I hate Chris Jericho's entrance in this era as well, with that fucking CGI ball going through space. And didn't they used to be? This was either pre or post this. They interspersed with like shots of New York or something. Like what the fuck is that about? Anyway, I love the fact that this whole thing like came about that Ric Flair just trashed Chris Jericho's concert.
The old man just totally leveled the concert.
He just fucking killed them all. I mean, I like it. I like the fact that Ric Flair was able to have a career renaissance in the WWE, because his time in WCW really started to go downhill, to be honest. So the fact he was able to have a not massive second run, but at least a semi-decent retirement tour. Yeah, this was very much a wrestling match. I didn't dislike it, but I wasn't on my feet with it.
Yeah, I think for me, this pay-per-view as a whole was, with the exception of the HBK Triple H match, I didn't really care about the storyline. I wasn't really bothered what came before or after, or what the build-up was, or that. But I enjoyed the action, the in-ring action of each one.
Yeah.
It was great. And this was the same with this one. I really enjoyed the match, but I didn't really care about what preceded it. But the in-ring action was fun.
I just thought it was funny that Chris Jericho is trying to be this fucking rock and roll guy, and Ric Flair comes out in a polo shirt and slacks and just fucking just starts throwing shit about. I enjoyed that part of the storyline, but yeah, I'm not going to go back and watch the fucking Raw preceding this to work out like what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
It was like every 15 seconds Jericho was yelling at Flair, "You son of a bitch," as well. The SOB counter on the show was absolutely horrendous. Lot of sobs.
JR was going full sob as well.
Absolutely.
This was a very foul-mouthed pay-per-view.
Yeah. Shocking.
Anyway, Edge versus Eddie Guerrero. Loved this. Loved it. I think it's quite funny that you've got Edge as the face and Guerrero as the heel in real life. It really should have been the opposite side, but still great, obviously.
It's one of those, you just could never have Eddie Guerrero as a heel as well. He was too much of a lovable rogue. It was a case of every time they tried to make him heel, people just went for it. People just loved him being a bastard, and not even like love to hate him. They were just like, ah, man, this guy's a cunt. Let's cheer him.
Kurt Angle was talking. I don't know if you watched Kurt Angle on the Broken Skull session, but he was talking about Eddie Guerrero, and he was saying like he walked about more or less in constant pain.
Yeah, he was
like despair. But when it came to like showtime, he just walk at the curtain and he would just fall into character.
Yeah, it's just.
And that's the thing about Eddie Guerrero that I'm not saying doesn't get enough credit for, but I think a lot of people give Eddie Guerrero credit, and it sounds really bad, but because of how tragically he died.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't think he got enough credit when he was alive. A lot of people know he won the belt and stuff. That it was a big the moment we redacted at WrestleMania. But this is a guy that was fucking always good. This is a guy in WCW. People were saying he was going to be big. In ECW, he was going to be big. Everything about him, his in-ring work, his heel work, his character, he was just fucking a great all-rounder.
He was believable.
Yes.
That's why you loved him, because he was believable. There was a real suspension of reality, suspension of disbelief. That's the same thing. But yeah, he walked the walk and he talked the talk. And like you said, yeah, as soon as he went through the cut, he became Eddie Guerrero. And every time you just bought into it, and yeah, he deserves a lot more credit
than
he gets even now.
I was going to say, I think the story was before he says that if after Hankney, he and Batista were going to have a program with Guerrero as a heel, and apparently one of the Again, there's still rumour and conjecture that this would have been assault, but apparently Guerrero was going to win the big gold belt and have a big run with that, or trade that off with Dave. But that would have been nice.
I'd have really enjoyed that as well, because again, there's a real brain versus brawn angle to it as well. Like Batista is just this absolutely monster heel, but it'd be like watching Eddie get the better of him as well. Like maybe like hit him with a quick roll up or something to win the belt. That would have been. Always enjoy a quick roll up.
Definitely, and that's the thing with Guerrero as well. It's like you're saying, he's that kind of guy that they kind of package him as much a heel as you want. People are going to cheer him because he's so likable.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy that could get away with doing the exact same things as a heel while being a babyface to the crowd. Like I can imagine fighting Batista and the rest Baxter just kind of low blow him or something, and people going crazy for it because they liked the fact that he cheated to win.
They'd go nuts for it, man.
Yeah.
Chavo could push to the top, like after Friday passed.
Yeah, he never really like.
Never sailed to the heights they should have.
No, he had a really good program. I remember in like the mid 2000s with Mysterio. Like
that run in 2006 against Redacted was Armageddon 2006 match. That's a really underrated gem.
I really enjoyed the I Quit match him and Rey Mysterio had on SmackDown. That was a really good program leading up to it.
I was there
Not
podcast.
quite custody of son on a ladder match.
I was there podcasting Friday with a wrestler, and I was saying he was the kind of nicest guy you ever met backstage or that, like legend wise. He said Chavo Guerrero is the fucking just nicest, humblest, coolest guy. He walks up to everybody, shakes their hand, introduces himself, and everybody's kind of like, "Aye, we know who you are." He's not that kind of guy. He's just like, if he sees it, he's been in their house type thing, and he's just dead respectful to everybody and kind of glad to be there. Just as a dead decent guy. Apparently had a match with Mysterio down south one time. I said down south, like fucking England, South America, where it was Ray and Chavo, and they were on the show. It was a house show, and apparently they just had this like 5-star barn burner, phenomenal match. Went back to the locker room and got nothing but heat after the rest of the boys, including apparently and allegedly John Cena, because nobody could follow what they did.
See, that's one of those rare jobs when you're actually punished for being the best. Like it really is. There's just no end of fucking aggression you get. It's backstabbing industry, proper backstabbing.
Can't do right for doing wrong, man.
I know. I was watching an NXT Takeover documentary a while ago. I think it was the first NXT Takeover. It was the night before Mania, and Triple H came in after the show and he's like, "You bastards!" They're all kind of laughing. He's like, "There's no way we can follow that tomorrow. No way." But he's the dead proud father type thing, you know, because NXT is his baby. But you just know Vince is like, "God damn it, fucking Triple H."
Look at them with their little twiggler arms, little undeveloped abs. None of them have got any muscle mass.
What was it? Kevin Nash said the vanilla midgets.
Yeah, that was back in WSTW when he was referring to Redacted and Guerrero and Mysterio and Parker.
Did you know things about harsh for Kevin Nash be calling anybody a midget when the guy was like legit 7 foot tall at one point?
Yeah, everyone's small next to him.
Yeah.
Oh yes, finally we get some funnies. The Un-Americans versus Booker T and Goldberg.
See, no, this was probably meant to be the comedy match, but I really enjoyed this.
It was. The reason it's so great is the Un-Americans are such a fucking painstaking, like, great team. Like, just Christian and Lance Storm. Like, they're two of the goats. They really are. I love Lance Storm. I know everything about Lance Storm. It's just, you can tell if Cammy was here, he'd be frothing over Lance Storm as well because of how painfully legit he was, just how dead. But like the meme that was in a couple of weeks ago on Twitter, where it was a picture of a screenshot from an episode of Raw in 2003, and Lance Storm was, "Everybody knows me for my sense of humour," and then the next panel is him just grimacing. It's just, he's such a, I know obviously, like, his talking skills could have maybe been left something to the imagination, but that guy should have had like a 2-year run with the IC strap.
That was great, absolutely great. And the thing about this match with the American storyline, that I totally forgot about this whole angle, this whole gimmick. This is like something you would expect to see run about this era, a sanitised version, Bret Hart's heel run, because it's basically the same idea. Like Canada's better than America type idea, the rest of the world's better than America, except there's a lot more humour to it. There's a lot more tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
The guys involved, which works really well. It's just when I was watching it, this is only like 5 years removed from when Brett was doing it. I suppose 5 years is quite a long time in wrestling as well.
Oh yeah, it's an absolute lifetime.
Just say, oh my god, can you imagine if Brett came back in 2002 to become like the kind of the manager? That would have just it would busted fat nuts all over this pay-per-view. Of course, no, I think I've said that. I'm sure 2002 was the year Brett had his stroke. So probably couldn't have done that.
But can you imagine bringing this kind of gimmick back in the modern era? And I would just go like, I don't know if you get away with this at the Fed, but maybe like you could maybe get NXT, maybe possibly AEW, I don't know, some other smaller promotion, and have the heels all wearing like red baseball caps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm sure like if they were to do an Americans angle now, where the whole thing is, listen kids, America was never that great. Yeah, the audience, the entire Thunderdome would be like, yes, we know.
No, I reckon it's still one of those. If you did it right, I still think the America bad angle would just absolutely like have people like fucking frothing at the mouth. Just because I know this pay-per-view is 18 years old, but just the fact that they come out holding the American flag upside down and there's people like just ready to fucking jump them.
And that's because that's the thing as well. So I mean, America might be what it is just now, and there's a whole kind of like Donald Trump nationalism, patriotism type thing. It's still a very insanely patriotic country.
Yeah.
And just because you're kind of maybe kind of leaning left, doesn't mean you're not all about the stars and stripes. And you could still get away with a gimmick like this easily.
I mean, yeah. To be honest, I think a lot of the anti-Trump crowd are still flag fuckers to a sense. Sorry, there might be kids listening. Flag shaggers. Yeah,
to make love to flags.
I think it's one of those. Like you could probably even try like a fucking Donald Trump MAGA angle, and I still think that'd get some kind of nuclear heat as well. But obviously, because of the relationship between the McMahons and the Trumps, you'd never have it in the Fed.
Granted, there's no crowd just now, so it's hard to kind of gauge what the live crowd would be like. They've basically got an Antifa heel faction.
Yeah, it's
in WWE just now.
Yeah,
well,
it's the guy T-Bar, and he keeps ripping the shit out of Eric Bischoff on Twitter.
How can that man be a heel?
No, he can't. We've discussed this before. Like, I'm pretty sure I was talking about like Brett's book and that when Vince was pitching him the whole pro-Canada, anti-America thing. Like, Vince is part of the office saying, Brett, Americans really do think that they're the greatest people in the world, and we need to remind them that they're not. It's like Vince. I know I said this before, he almost gets it. There's sporadic moments where Vince just he nearly fucking he's so close.
Yeah,
this is the guy that thought he was the good guy after Montreal.
Oh yeah. Oh, but I'm sure, like in Vince's mind, like the old traditionalist, like I saved the company. It was my belt. It was never his.
He thought the Mr. McMahon character was going to be a babyface.
Oh man! Speaking of fucking comedy, wrestling, higher up types, I just can't get over how fucking Bischoff was dressed.
He's got like the Liam Neeson and Taken wig. He's got like the proper sliceless hair going on.
He had the fucking 70s dad wig and was dressed like fucking Clarkson, man. It was absolutely terrifying. It was one of those, like, I actually got distracted watching the pay-per-view because I was just thinking about how Eric Bischoff was dressed. It was just like, I know you probably listened to me just to like get a gauge on how this pay-per-view was. Go back and watch it just for like Bischoff in that fucking leather blazer and the fucking stonewashed denim.
To put it in perspective, in the previous podcast for Halloween Havoc, Bischoff is dressed like a vampire, and he looked more ridiculous here.
I know that. Yeah,
it's the fucking teeth.
The thing is, Bischoff, we can all say about Bischoff and WCW and X, Y, and Z, but he's a performer, an on-screen personality.
Oh, he's such a shit. I hate him so much. Because obviously, that was back when wrestling was completely believable. I fucking hated him. And obviously, you go now, and he's got like shoot interviews and his podcast. He's just a reasonable bloke, but I still look at him and be like, "You're such a shit. You're such a dick, and I hate you." It's one of those. I think if I met him, like, I'd shake his hand, have a real good chat with him, and I imagine he'd be a charming man. But at the end of it, I'd be like, "You're still a shit."
It's not even that. Like his first appearance on WWE TV was him hugging Vince McMahon after spending the previous 10 years trying to decimate his income and leave his family destitute. It was like, if I was Eric Bischoff and somebody put, you're going to go out there and you're going to hug Vince, that's what you're going to debut. It's like, okay, you'd be eyeing like the crowd waiting for like the lone gunman, just hanging in like one of the corners, just like, oh god, that's like the lone gunshot as you fall into Vince McMahon's arms.
And that was one of the greatest reveals ever in wrestling. The fact that picture of the two of them just kind of like celebrating on the stage. You're like, Eric Bischoff's now a character on WWE television. What fucking universe am I watching? This is amazing.
I think it goes to show how focused on good business Vince is as well. He extended the olive branch to the man who tried to destroy him. It was like, imagine the ratings.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why like Vince has reached the age of, what is he now, 75, and he's living on 3 hours sleep a night. It's because I genuinely see, whenever we hear about Vince getting worked up backstage, I'm convinced it's a work. I'm convinced that man doesn't have a shred of hatred in him, and that man just loves everybody, and it's all bravado, and that man's going to live to like 110, and it's going to be because he hates nobody.
Is it one of those that he's hard on you because he wants you to do better, like a stern dad? But the thing is, for every like shoot interview where Vince has absolutely ripped into someone backstage, there's also the other side of the story where he's like hugged someone and cried.
Yeah.
Because I saw something last night. There was like a shoot with Jerry Lawler. They did this portrait. Apparently, he's a really good drawer. I didn't realise.
Yeah, I saw that. The grandfather.
Yeah.
Son.
I just thought he was a complete sex case. So I'd like to retract that statement. But yeah, apparently Vince was like stood in the corner for like 3 minutes, just facing away because obviously he was so moved by. Yeah, for every story about Vince being a bastard, there's one of him just being a.
Apparently he's chronic when it comes to hugs. Like there's a story from Paul Heyman where apparently he's like trying to walk away. He's like, Paul, I want my huggies. It's like, he's such a quintessentially fucking American boss, isn't he?
Well, it's that story as well, the infamous plane ride from hell. We've all heard kind of like Kurt Angle and Vince McMahon are wrestling, and Taker wakes up and he thinks Angle's battering McMahon and puts him in a chokehold. It just basically puts him out. But it's a fact that Angle's telling us, so Angle said he kind of looks down and like McMahon's commando crawling up the aisle towards him. Like, he's like, I can see you, Vince. And he's like, try to hide. And the stewardess is like, the captain says he's don't all calm down. He's landing the plane, and Vince is like, I'll buy this plane.
He's fucking nuts, man.
And for all his faults, you wouldn't change him. But I love the fact that we've managed to not only humanise Vince here, we've turned him into like a humanitarian, some kind of altruistic being.
I just have such a weird relationship with Vince McMahon.
Oh, it's like you'll read something about him and think, you motherfucker. And
Yeah.
then you see him on television, you're like, oh, he's like a big teddy bear, isn't he? He's just some big, charming, lovable rogue.
It's like Thomas. I wouldn't change him for the world. I can't say like where I'll look back on him and form an opinion on him, but I just wouldn't change him for the world. Whether or not I love him or hate him, I wouldn't have him any differently.
He treats everybody like gold except his employees.
Yeah.
It's like, once Vince owns you, he owns your ass. But if you're like Brock Lesnar, you're like, fuck this, I'm going to UFC. It's like, no, Brock, wait, come back, please.
That's the guy that tried to buy Young Bucks and Kenny Omega that to prevent a new promotion from starting. He was offering them contracts, but it wasn't even his last. Guys, here's some contracts. What's the contract? I'm going to put you in NXT. We're going to create a promotion. Okay. Well, what's your counter offer? That's it. that's as much as I value your new promotion. I'm offering you contracts of wrestling NXT. That's fucking amazing shithousery by Vince McMahon. I'm actually amazed. Then I go, Kenny, what's your thoughts on 205 Live?
I just love that's the maxim of his offer. Be like, I can put you on the C show. I might sack you. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Like all those guys that left who went to TNA and AEW to take massive pay cuts. Apparently, like Vince was shelling out like pretty hefty, like $700,000 contracts willy nilly, just for the sake of what you're going to do with me after forgiving me $700,000. Nothing. No, you'll be there. We'll just
I'd take that, man.
Of course.
Coming to the end of that $700,000 contract after sitting at home, like I'm just fucking like really fat or something. I'm like, Vince, I'm gonna go to TNA.
Well, a lot of people are saying that about Nakamura, and apparently he's like been offered like contracts X, Y, and Z. That's why is he staying at the Fed? Why is he staying at the Fed? It's ruined him. He's like, because he's happy. He's having to do less work. He's not putting his body on the line like he used to do. He can go surfing when it suits him. The guy's put his shift in. The guy's put his hours in. He's put those miles in the clock. Let him enjoy.
Yeah, he's got to do one week's worth of work a year. See, the thing is, I would actually spend a lot of time in the gym as well. Every match I'd do, I would just come back like super fucking jacked. Bust Vince's balls into doing a squash match and then just disappear off television for a year. I'd fucking go for that, man. And the rest of the time, I'm just like fucking about in like my Florida beach house or something. This is all hypothetical. Vince will never hire me.
No. Well, I mean, he'll buy. He could, purchase us just for the sake of saying I own you. So now we can't disparage him.
If any WWE higher ups are listening, that we are open to financial offers. $700,000 will do it. We'll just sit at home and not do a podcast ever again.
Sounds fine with us.
Yeah.
But Lewis, I don't know if I mentioned that. Apparently, there's rumours, very strong rumours, that the Fed has a contractual stipulation with Progress Wrestling and ICW that they can close them down when they feel like it. Just buy them out.
What the fuck?
Yeah. No, I don't know how true it is, but I've read it more than once from pretty decent sources, and it's not a kind of case that they'll just keep throwing money at them till they submit. They've actually got a clause they can just go, well, we own you.
It's one of those. Whether it's true or not, I can believe it.
He is like a jacked Mr. Burns, isn't he? Like that's the closest comparison I can find.
Yeah, he's definitely Mr. Burns.
Can you imagine he's went to like these different kind of promotions in Britain? It's like, I'm going to close you down, and they're like, no, we're not taking that offer, Vince. So he just blocks out the sun, so the UK doesn't get any.
You know they pitched a who shot Mr. McMahon at one point. They
blew him up. And
yeah, of course, but
no, word for word, who shot Mr. McMahon? Yeah. I hope he gets dementia and tries to buy out World of Sport. He's trying to bring giant haystacks to NXT. Let's get that Steve Regal over to WWE. Vince, he runs NXT. Get giant haystacks too.
Well, that's that rumour as well. Apparently the Saudis wanted on to the giant wrestling.
Yeah, they wanted Yokozuna as well, and somebody had to explain that they've been dead for 19 years. Right, guys. Match number 6. Rob Van Dam versus Chris Benoit. What did you guys miss?
Ray, Dak, Ted.
I just want to prefix this by saying this match was stiff as shit.
I
was not expecting this to be as hard hitting as it was.
It's one of those. Rob Van Dam will slap you in the face with the ball of his foot, man.
Yeah.
It was an incredibly stiff match, but Ray, Dak, Ted is probably the sort of guy you can work stiff with, and he'll come and shake your hand afterwards. Well, not anymore because he's dead, but.
In 2002.
Yeah, he's still right.
It felt like a good time for wrestling in 2002 as well, because you started to bring in the top line WCW guys. You had a wealth of talent from all the promotions you'd crushed, and you were able to create all these fantasy football matches, which probably led to the pay-per-view that we got.
Oh yeah, like I didn't mention this in the Angle Mysterio match, but the greatest move of Mysterio's career was that he never came in during the invasion angle, because he would have been absolutely.
Oh, he would have been cast by the wayside.
Yeah, but yeah, Rob, I mean, people forget. Like, I think the reason one of this pay-per-views is so fondly remembered is that a lot of the matches are cruiserweight versus ground game style matches, and I know it seems almost ridiculous to call a 240-pound man a cruiserweight, but Rob Van Dam, the man could fucking shift when he needed to.
It was the flexibility in the way he could fly.
Yeah.
As well.
People forget, like, there's only really like a 30-pound difference between him and Goldberg, and him and Warrior and that, and it's just like the moves the man could do for a man of his size was absolutely off the charts.
Van Damme was incredibly fluid in everything he did. He just made everything look easy. The way he moved, everything just seemed so slick. But it's funny because you say it's stiff as well, and it was like it was never a accidental stiffness. Like Goldberg, for example, Goldberg will just shut your eye socket and give you a concussion in your career.
Yeah.
He's not intending to do that. He's just clumsy. Where RVD is laying it in.
Just the kicks, everything, just so hard hitting.
But when you see something like that, it's like, oh my god, he's punching him. He's punching him in the face. What are you doing? You're hurting him. When you just watch some guy like fall off a ladder through a table, as soon as some guy like he gets a bit rough with the punches, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? You're gonna hurt somebody at this rate. But yeah, for me, Van Damme was always one of the most just legit and most enjoyable wrestlers for me.
He's also a man of like weirdly few injuries. Like, as far as I can tell, like, there was only one time I've seen him injured was when it was the One Night Stand pay-per-view in 2005 when he came in with the leg brace and that, and I think he'd got a knee or whatever. But other than that, he'd weirdly not a whole lot of time off.
It's one of those. Well, I remember a lot of Rolling Thunders onto a ladder.
Aye.
Well, so he was going like spine first. I know the ladders are designed to flex and bend because human beings have been thrown through them, but still, Jesus Christ, like you'd think a guy like kicks chairs would get some kind of injury at some point.
Exactly. And you think about these kind of stuff in ECW. I don't think they were getting gimmicked ladders. I think they were just going to the local hardware shop, the local B&Q, and just buying the ladders and stuff.
Didn't the Sandman just fucking hit someone with like a cast iron skillet once as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I cannot praise Van Damme enough. The fact that he's still working to this day. Proof of just
he's having a great time, man. I have no idea what he's doing in TNA, but every now and then he just crops up with just some mental fucking screenshots.
Van Damme,
time of his life, man.
Yeah, Van Damme is like final level divorce star energy.
Oh,
boss.
That man I'm pretty sure like he has to have like the Mount Kilimanjaro of cannabis underneath his house. Man is just living. You
ever see the memes? It's like, how's your dad handling the divorce?
Yeah, it's...
Van Damme peaked that meme. He's sitting in a hot tub with his girlfriend and his wife and a spliff, and you're like...
It is the antithesis of she's turned the weens against us.
Yeah, no,
there's something to be said, though. All these other guys full of somas and perks. And other fucking crazy painkillers and muscle relaxants and steroids are taken. It doesn't end well for a lot of them. Van Damme, as you say, relatively injury-free career, smokes an inhuman amount of dope. Yeah.
I mean, you've never seen Willie Nelson injured, have you?
I've seen Snoop Dogg go through 2 tables off the top of a ladder and then fine the next day.
He just got straight up, man.
Yeah, there's one of the interviews on YouTube. I talked about how like when he made fun of Shawn Michaels' eye, like back in 2008, there was a shoot interview where he was like able to get his eyes to be of a comport, and the guy was asking him like, how do you feel about Shawn Michaels now? And he sat there with like a fat doobie in one hand and goes, that's cool. you know, they're the guy in here.
He does a really good Shawn Michaels impression as well.
He does. I should probably link that on YouTube. Probably will. But,
It's on YouTube somewhere, but he does the voice perfectly.
I'm not even going to try doing Rob Van Dam doing Shawn Michaels because
No, I can't even do Shawn Michaels. Never mind Rob Van Dam.
No one can do a Shawn Michaels impression.
Not even sure. Not even sure. It's like gruff, but quite pitched. It's because when you do gruff, it's Vince. But you do gruff like this, it's like some fucking Cockney geezer.
It's like an effeminate gruffness.
It's weird. I don't know where he exists.
I know.
Shawn Michaels is not real.
There can't be a place in San Antonio where like everybody has that accent. Surely not. Surely we would have found that about it.
I don't want to go to Texas for that reason. I just want to imagine that everyone in San Antonio is like Shawn Michaels. It's like that Bronsonville in The Simpsons. Where the little kids sound like Shawn Michaels.
Gonna go back through a network and find out that Shawn Michaels doesn't actually exist. He's a composite of all wrestlers.
That was the other member of the Rockers.
It's just it's just like the late 2000s where Benoit stopped existing. Because didn't they used to like play old Benoit matches on like Sunday Heat and Velocity and that?
Yeah.
But they just cut every shot of him out, so it'd be like Rob Van Dam just like kicking in midair or something.
The way that they've done the recap on YouTube, it's like they'll go through all the matches step by step. Well, only be a couple of flashes. I think it was like Summerslam 2002 in 60 seconds. And it's like a couple of shots of the guys locking up. And then when it gets to the Benoit RVD match, it's just a shot of RVD with the belt. It's like, RVD is the new IC champ. It's like, who the fuck did he beat for it?
Doesn't matter.
Right.
I mean, there's an old video doing the rounds, and it was clearly Photoshop. I didn't need to fucking specify that. But it was the WrestleMania where Benoit won, and somebody had superimposed just like a black image over him. So it was it had no features, it was just this like shadow man. And somebody was at a press conference and they asked CM Punk if it was real. And he's like, I saw this video on the internet and explained it, and CM Punk's looking at him like, well, if you saw it on the internet, it must be real.
I'm pretty sure Punk was like one of the few guys that did actually address the controversy. It's like, why is Benoit never mentioned on telly now? It's like, well, we really can't. It's not really.
There's a shoot podcast that I will not repeat here because it's pretty brutal, but CM Punk makes some Benoit jokes that would make Ollie blush.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh dear.
He remains uncancelled, so we're doing all right.
Yeah.
Right,
all we need to do is go down as one of the best loved wrestlers of all time. Okay.
The CM stands for cancelled, man.
Oh yes, finally we got another home run. Match number 7, Undertaker versus Test. Once again, it's America versus the world.
Oh Jesus Christ!
You have to do the American man going over.
Let's fast forward to the ending, man, because that just the way that people like shitting themselves with excitement when the Undertaker was holding up the American flag, man. Like JR, he was just speaking in fucking tongues, man. He was just like, it's all glory, it's all glory.
Oh, can you see?
I've never seen JR that excited since reading his tweets in the last year.
It's one of those, man. Obviously, like the world's changed, but it's just how like easy it is to get a crowd going. All you have to do is like wave the American flag. Or wave the flag of a country that isn't America if you want to be a heel.
Yeah. It's very much America versus the rest of the world, isn't it?
It's like I said, there's America and then there's the abroad.
Yeah.
It's just a vague, grey, gelatinous land flag.
Isn't it like a majority of Americans just don't have a passport? Which is fair enough, because obviously you've got like the entirety of the world in your country. But at the same time, I don't think they conceptualise like Britain is a real place.
Yeah. No wonder they think the Earth's flat. They think the world ends at the edge of America.
Yeah, it's just once you get to San Antonio, Texas, and you see all the Shawn Michaels feet, it all just ends. Yeah, this was a good match. Again, it exists on the spectrum of it was a wrestling match. It was a serviceable serviceable wrestling match. It didn't hinder the pay-per-view's tempo at all.
No, and the crowd were right into it. We can take the piss at them for why they were into it, but they were hot. And then that really helped because, like I said, I look at this in paper, I was Undertaker contest. It's time for a cup of tea. But I watched it and I'm going, do you know, I'm quite into this because
I enjoyed
there's a lot of investment. A good story was told in that. And although I'm quite happy, I mean, the idea of Taker representing America, I'm quite cool with that, American badass. But Test representing the rest of the world, is that the best we could? That was our champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never really discussed Test, did we? It was a shame. I think
God
a
rest
hell of a look.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's an absolute shame, and you look at him and you watch a match and you're thinking in like 5 years' time you're going to be dead.
Yeah.
But like Test went to the ECW reboot, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. He was like the big monster.
He like died a year after that or something, and it's obviously one of those. He looked good, and obviously that goes away to explain how he died. But looking and be like, you're gonna be dead soon, man. Like that's fucking weird.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think, I know I was kind of taking the piss there saying like the idea of Test being like the champion for the rest of the world against America's champion of one of the greatest wrestlers that ever lived in Undertaker. Test was alright. It was alright for the kind of level he was at. And I thought it was quite good. When he first came in, he had the kind of heel look in that. His babyface run was wrestling Triple H and stuff. It's a pretty good story.
Yeah.
It really worked. And then you're saying, it just kind of seemed to he had this chance maybe of a kind of wee kind of renaissance for his career, kind of finding his level. He was gone.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. Like, yeah, like we said with Eddie Guerrero earlier. It's like, wow. Imagine if that had gone through, how different history would look today. It's one of those. Like maybe you could have put the big strap on him and just seen how you gone, because he definitely had the potential. But I think as well with this whole champion for the rest of the world angle, I think you have got to use one of your mid-carders on it. It's more of a, obviously people like buy into it and get pissed off with it, but yeah, it's more of a comedy angle, and I don't think you want to be putting a top level star like Redacted as the champion of the rest of the world.
No, that's a fair point. I mean, you kind of look at the Americans faction as a whole, all very good or decent kind of work style representing. Right, it was more.
They have one of them on their own as a me against the world type character, or yeah, just keep it to like a bit of a light entertainment as well.
But there was nothing funny about dissing the flag.
No, never.
It feels like they could have gimmicked Test's height to 7 foot. Like he feels just as big as Taker. That's it. Well, in terms of stature.
Well, talk about his gimmick. Remember the reason he was called Test? His gimmick, he was a roadie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely like sub main event of like the second biggest show of the year. It feels like it should have been one of an established star that maybe should have taken.
But well, to be honest, who would you have had at that point?
I mean, I know Austin and Hogan were pretty much gone by this point, but had it been, I would have been more than happy to get Austin versus Taker again, or Hogan versus Taker again, or Hogan versus Austin.
I know, but I mean, Hogan's not really going to fit into that un-American camp, is he?
Let's.
Because
I am a real un-American.
Hogan. Well, he's got a great experience going bad guy in the past. He could have absolutely become Canada.
Do you mind that angle that WCW went and did in the repackaged Hacksaw Jim Duggan as an American hating Canadian heel?
What the fuck? No, no, I don't remember that.
It was weird. It was weird.
Right.
What the fuck?
Actual sub main event, which is Michaels versus Triple H in the unsanctioned street fight, widely seen as the match of the night.
undisputable. What I will say is, and what I've also spoken about on like Twitter and shit, is that obviously Shawn Michaels comes out in his vest and his jeans and his cowboy boots. He's coming for a street fight, man. He's ready. And then Triple H comes out in his trunks, and it just looks like he's fighting him in his pants. Could Triple H not have stretched to like a pair of jeans or something? It's a street fight. It's unsanctioned. Why are you wearing wrestling trunks? It looks wrong.
But if it was a street fight, why does Shawn Michaels come out with like the Mania 14, metal tassels?
He's excited to be back. That's the entrance. That doesn't matter. That's not. It looks wrong. This is why this match is a 9.9 out of 10 for me. It just looks like Triple H is in his pants.
It was weird because, I mean, like, you're right, it's an unsanctioned street fight, so you should be at least in jeans or boots or a t-shirt or something, but you're right, he comes in his proper ring gear and you're like, okay, it's unsanctioned. Also, it's an unsanctioned match. Why have we even got a referee?
Surely if he told them on like the Raw beforehand that you've got an unsanctioned match, therefore it is officially sanctioned.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he's sanctioned an unsanctioned match.
Yes. But how good is the build-up? How good is the video package?
They invoke Godfather Part 2. I knew it was you, Fredo. It just,
See the way Triple H is kind of like, Sean, it wasn't me, we'll find it, we'll try and do this. And
the camera on pixelating.
The reveal, and then like, the camera goes back to Triple H, and he's like...
Yeah.
I didn't watch that in real time, so I have no idea if it was like week to week watching that, but you watch his CCTV footage, and Triple H is like, Sean, I don't know who it wasn't me, and I'm like, why the fuck's a guy wearing a Triple H t-shirt?
Funny you should say that, Hunter. We've just installed a 4K 1080p CCTV camera right opposite where Sean got injured.
But it's
super enhancing capabilities.
Triple H is like, I'm going to attack Shawn Michaels and deny it, but just in case anyone has any issues identifying me, I'm going to wear a Triple H t-shirt.
but why would Triple H be wearing a Triple H t-shirt? Come on.
Because it's wrestling, in the wrestling world, you never ever wear another wrestler's t-shirt.
He should have done. He should have worn like a fucking Rock t-shirt and just spread it out a few more weeks. You see that guy with like long hair and a beard? It was The Rock.
The guy with a long blonde hair? Yeah, him.
Yeah,
the guy with the schnoz.
He could have been Rikishi. He did it for The Rock.
I honestly Christ wish Sean had came out later with like the full-on Mania 14 regalia. Like just came back and swinging for it. As much as I loved this match, I couldn't get over the jeans and cowboy boots.
Oh, I love the jeans and cowboy boots.
Wasn't this meant to be a one-off as well? So I don't think they had anything like costume-wise planned for him as well.
But
possible.
Like, in the story, the kind of the promo leading up to it, it takes. I think maybe a kind of an easy route with Hunter where it goes like, I always thought I was better than you. I was always the standout in DX. I used you to get to the top. I wish they had played more in that kind of sympathetic, like, you walked out the door in 98 and you left me on my own to kind of pick up the pieces. I was left to swim with the sharks and all that. Like, I wish they'd actually kind of tapped into that aspect.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed that more. Yeah. To be honest, like, yeah, Triple H is bitter about it. That works better. Yeah, it's especially like leading into him pedigreeing him on his comeback as well. It would be a case of, well, you betrayed me, so I'm gonna return the favour. But I think the angle worked as it is.
No, it's perfectly fine the way it is. But they do the whole, you didn't dump me, I dumped you angle. I just felt it was a bit.
Yeah.
It didn't really bother me too much because we could out back again. Like Triple H gets a lot of criticism for his reign of terror as world champion, and he always seemed to be in the main event and things like that. But see, and a lot of people, I heard Bischoff say this a lot as well. He's a cool guy heel because he's the kind of heel people want to be because he's got a badass and stuff. But see, stuff like this, it's so fucking slimy and snidey. Forget how good a proper heel it can be.
Yeah.
Oh, whenever you see clean-shaven Paul, you know you're in for some right shithousery. Like he's just.
That's the guy that kidnapped the boss's daughter, drugged her, then married her. But even better than that, turned out she was in it the whole time. But it had to happen, to be honest with you, otherwise it was a bit fucking weird.
He plays the bad guy heel really, really well. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of like shithouse and like Weasley heels, but in terms of just being an absolute bastard,
Yeah,
he does it really well.
agreed. Swingham's fucking sledgehammer at people and stuff. Remember,
Oh,
you see, again, a lot of people kind of criticising Triple H, saying, "Oh, if he's so tough, why isn't he a sledgehammer?" Because he's a heel.
Yeah, he likes to get his hands dirty, you know.
Plus,
Yeah.
the sledgehammer's money. Like it's his own personalised weapon.
Yeah,
Like,
and
who
you
else
see-
would you associate the sledgehammer with?
You see, the thing is, as well, like, why does he need the sledgehammer? Because he's in a fucking business and a company where the aim of the game is to beat the other guy up.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he can just use his hands, but that's pretty much standard. Of course, he's got to break out the hammer to really send the point home.
He's in a company where one of its top stars died and went to heaven to return a few months later.
Yeah. Plus,
Yeah,
like,
Sledgehammer's fine.
you know, Triple
a
H-
sledgehammer's believable, if anything.
plus people very often forget. Like they say, oh, you know, Hunter needed a sledgehammer to get over. But they forget in '99, like Austin set an actual rattlesnake.
Yeah.
Triple H, like in a room. Like no one ever brings that up. No one
No.
ever brings the fact that
Everyone needs their props, man.
The Rock should have actually brought in a Brahma bull and just charged somebody. That would have been.
That would have been fucking sick.
Just to
That would have ended really badly.
You know that was pitched at some point, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll also forget that Jake Roberts actually did get a snake to bite the Macho Man. And as a kid, you're watching it thinking, he's been fucking bitten with a king cobra. He's going to die.
He should be dead right now. Why is he not dead?
The story about that on Joe Rogan is one
It's
of the
amazing.
greatest stories ever on the GRA. It really is. You know, like the whole idea of like, you know, Jake sat there with like Snakehead in one hand, and you know Randy's going, "No, don't fucking move." Yeah. No, so plus getting into the actual match, like you're talking about how confident Sean was at this point. Like the entire match is just Hunter working the back. Like it's literally knees in the back, knees in the back, knees in the back, elbow in the back, elbow in the back. elbow in the back.
I went back to watch this match. Not to refresh my memory, just because I wanted to watch it again. I'd watched it once, and now I've got to watch it again. Can you imagine if, in working the back, Triple H had re-injured
Actually.
Shawn Michaels?
It'd been like the sound effect when you've completed the game of Connect 4 and it's just all the little discs bouncing off the plastic at the bottom.
The cerebral assassin, indeed.
One point, or we can go back and forth on this, but the real highlight of the match. So I came back and watched this match, and then I rewound this bit where Shawn goes for like the flying shoulder block, and then kips up, and people they're on their feet, man. That I just had to go rewind that just a little bit to watch it again, because that got me going as well. That was just.
I think the in-ring action in this match is great. It's passionate. The cracking story being told.
I've said time and time again, this program was just absolutely incredible from start to finish. Because did it end with the Hell in the Cell at Bad Blood or the 3 stages of Hell match?
I'm going to say the latter.
Yeah, I think because the end it was a ladder match for the world title. I think Triple H won the title, and that was that. I think. But yeah, this the Elimination Chamber, the Hell in the Cell, the 3 stages of Hell match, it was just incredible. Every match was an absolute winner.
Yeah.
And I liked at the very end of it when Triple H was walking to the back, he had a like real smile on his face. I don't know if that was a shit-eating heel thing or just the fact that he brought Shawn Michaels back and they'd had that match.
Probably a bit of both. But yeah, it was the kind of idea after the match, you kind of just cracked some of the sledgehammer anyway, and
Yeah.
it's like, my God, how evil are you? You're not just trying to beat this guy, you actually want to cripple him.
You want to kill him. It's great.
Yeah.
I almost feel like that was done to distract from the fact that a 30-minute match ended in a roll-up.
I don't know, I didn't mind it.
Oh no, I liked it. I liked it.
The members that roll ups and stuff, it was out of the blue, and the whole build up to it and how it happened, I thought was great.
Yeah, I think the fact that if you'd end it with Sweet Chin Music or a pedigree, it'd be very much by the by. The fact he turned a pedigree into a roll up,
Yeah.
I think that was money. To be honest.
Yeah, and gives Triple H a chance to kind of get up and go, oh, no, and still
Yeah.
be rather than be all kind of groggy looking for his sledgehammer.
Yeah,
After he's been kicked in the face.
you couldn't have had him battering with the sledgehammer if he'd been just kicked in the face and knocked out. You couldn't have had it.
He's angry. He's been caught. He feels as if he's been conned. He's been tricked. The victory's been stolen from him.
Yeah, he's been mugged off.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, like when he got twatted with the sledgehammer, they brought some guy out in a white coat to signify he was the doctor.
big stethoscope.
Yeah. He's got like a comedy syringe plugging it in.
Yeah. So we move on to our main event, which is Rock versus Brock for the title. Youngest world champion of all time, until Randy would come and do it 2 years later.
I just need to roll back. I've got my review of SummerSlam 2002 up. I called him Bork Laster, Burke Lesbian, Mark Labrat, Back Lateral, Bash Lancaster, Bank Loan Manager, Bart Lancer, Bink Lancer, Block Letter, Black Lace, Basque Lesbian, Beck Lunchmeat. I can't think of any more funny names for this guy. Blink Landspeed, Bracken Limoncello, Bork Libelous, Lamb Roast, Benedict Cumberbatch, and that was it.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
So yeah, that's my review of the match.
Brock's like steamrolling to the top. Like it's not hard to imagine. Like that must have got him no end of heat backstage. Like just the fact he came in and was immediately pushed to the fucking moon.
I think he's just that kind of monster as well, that Goldberg style monster that you can understand why he's being pushed to the top. You couldn't have him paying his dues in the mid card, like trying like get the better of like Lance Storm or something. It as much as we're talking about the Brain versus Braun angle, it wouldn't be believable with Brock Lesnar. It's the same with like people like John Cena and everything. You need to have those guys pretty much fast tracked. I know John Cena paid his dues in the low ranks, but you still need to up because they're that monstrous. It wouldn't be believable that they need to come in and just squash the fuck out of people. It's like Goldberg. You couldn't believe that Goldberg is having to fight for his victory. It's a case of this guy has to show up.
Yeah, I mean, like I think it was Austin was talking about my podcast at the minute he went. The first time he saw Brock Lesnar, like backstage, just kind of saw him walk through the door, and his first thought was, "This guy's money." I mean, you talk about, they always talk about kind of putting a rocket to somebody. You couldn't do the opposite of Lesnar. You couldn't slow him down. He was going straight to the top regardless.
Yeah.
He looked the part. He could wrestle. He could sell. He could do everything that was needed of being a top star. Did he need to talk? No, he's got a manager for that. So that's not even an issue, the idea that he's liking the mic. I don't even think Lesnar's that bad in the mic either, to be fair. I don't think he's that bad.
I think again the manager angle works as well. Like this is probably a bad example to relate it to, but it's the one that's in my head. It was Umaga with that Estrada guy. So Umaga's the big monster. He doesn't need to talk because he has the guy talking for him. It's the same with Paul Heyman. Yeah. Paul Heyman does the voice bit. Brock Lesnar does the talking in the ring.
There is an interview with Paul Heyman on that Inside the Ropes kind of show that they do. But one of the things they were originally concerned with Brock was an Ivan Drago gimmick. Like they were originally debating whether or not to make him just the big scary Russian. Look at the guy.
I don't think it would have worked. I think it would have been a bit cringe. Obviously, you've still got an Ivan Drago style like gimmick that he's just this unbeatable, clean-cut looking guy. But at the same time, it would have been a bit cringe.
Yeah.
He'd have probably ended up part of like the Un-Americans or something.
Yeah, can you discuss how like one-sided the crowd was? Like Rock got no end of abuse.
Yeah.
This was a very one-sided crowd. Like they were cheering the heel to no end. Like they really wanted Rock to fuck off, which of course non-wrestling fans they would regret like all of 3 weeks later anyway. But,
Yeah, it was weird, man.
That was a cracking match. I thought
quite one-sided. It's very heavy on Brock's offense.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it had to be in a lot of ways as well, which was interesting because the Rock's clearly the heel in this match, but it was almost like Lesnar was wrestling more as a heel.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of felt at times.
And
Again, I can't see Lesnar being the good guy. I can never.
I think when he's against somebody like Big Show, then yeah, it's very easy to make Brock the face, but just by virtue, there's not many guys who can outside Brock.
But even then, I couldn't see Lesnar as the good guy, even if you were pitching him as the good guy.
I think they did make him a face, like not long after this. I'm sure he did.
When he fought Angle, it was a face, but again, we spoke about it in the podcast we did about it. It worked for me because he came out injured, so it gave him that kind of disadvantage.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that bit at the start with Rock like leaping on the spot trying to imitate Rock, that was fantastic. That was good shit. That was really
the Rock's fucking just great here, absolutely great. And you're right, he's getting so much heat for the crowd. It was weird. It was kind of like watching this match for some kind of prism of alternate reality. But the Rock's getting like quote unquote go away heat, and the crowd are like really excited for Lesnar being the new dominant force. And yeah, that might come back to haunt them 18 years later when they're getting sickies, suplexes.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I'm thinking, like, what was Rock away? Like, did he leave immediately after this? Because I knew he came back from Mania 19. So I'm trying to think. In fact, I'm sure he was back even like at Royal Rumble 2003 or whatever. So I'm trying to, like, was he going away to make? It's not that movie he did with Shawn Williams Scott.
He made the Scorpion King.
No, but I think that, yeah, because that was what initially, like, he left in 2001 to go and do the Scorpion King, and then he came back and got abuse for supposedly walking out or whatever, and then I think he did, like, was it Welcome to the Jungle and The Rundown or something like that? It was the movie he did with the guy that played Stifler.
Wrestling fans are very fickle. I won't hear anything.
No,
it was, the right call was made at the end of the day.
I was about to say, yeah, it worked out incredibly well for him.
This is a great
match. Because Brock was gone 3 years later.
Yeah, again. And that's what wrestling fans love to do. They love to build somebody up until they decide, because they've read something, some dirt sheet, that it's not cool to like this person anymore. So it's time to boo them out of the building.
Yeah, it's weird.
Done it with Goldberg, done it with Brock. Tried to do it with Roman Reigns, but fucking Vince was sticking his heels in with that one. He wasn't letting that one slide. They tried it with John Cena.
Roman is such a great bad guy. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I now reflect. Why was he ever like pitched as a face? That guy is just solid bastard.
Oh, absolutely, fantastic villain.
I mean, the guy, like, for forever has just come out in like a bulletproof vest. He looks bad. Why have you just pitched him as some kind? Obviously, it's to sell T-shirts and to sell merch. And this at this point, where our dearly departed friend Cammy would come in to tell me that it's to sell T-shirts. But
in terms of Harley Race and Dean Malenko, this match was subpar.
Dean Douglas would not have been booed in this match.
They should have shook hands, and Rock should have waved goodbye to the crowd as he was leaving.
It's actually like it was one of the sport rules rounds during the match.
Dan Severn would have sold it better. But even if Reigns was a heel, he'd have sold T-shirts. Like.
So in summary, guys, SummerSlam 2002, out of a scale of 1 to 10, where do we all start?
Mwah.
Yeah, I'll give it a 9.
I'll give it a chef's kiss out of 10. I'd give it a 9. Oh, we never talked about Howard Finkel. What the fuck was that?
Yeah,
I just fast-forwarded that.
Yeah, no,
because obviously you can pull it up and it's got all the segments. I saw it was like on like 224 or something, and Rock versus Brock started at 229. I was like, what the fuck did he go on about for that 5 minutes? And obviously, looking back on it, the WWE would not always have Howard Finkel. God rest his soul.
Right, guys, this is always our favourite part of the show, which is where we get to pick a new thing for next week. I'm going to throw this idea out there, and feel free to reject it. I would like to see the last episode of BCW before it's let it go.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Right,
The original ECW, the original, or the
yeah,
reboot?
the original. I'm
Original,
not
yeah.
No. The last episode of the reboot of WCW. I want to see something like fucking Johnny Nitro against Jack Swagger.
I am not watching fucking Ezekiel Jackson and fucking Tommy Dreamer have another match where, you know, just the idea of like a clean looking ECW set, just disgusting.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Last episode of ECW ever. And we can call it the rise and fall of the Talk and Rock Express. The
Talk and Rock.
The Talk Rock.
The Talk and Rock with the cock.
The Brock and Rock Express.
The Cock and Rock connection.
Make wrestling great again.
Right, guys, I'm just gonna sign off for now. Until next
Goodbye.
time.
Goodbye.
Take care.
Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
You guys?